Hello, my name is Connie White, and I'm a real estate broker affiliated with RE/MAX Realty Advisors. This is a series of interviews whereby I have the opportunity and the pleasure to interview experts in our area, and it's called Tapping Into Our Local Talent. Please welcome Ken Goldberg this evening, who is a real estate attorney. Welcome.
Thanks, Connie. Great to be here.
Ken, tell me a little bit about your practice, how long you've been there, and maybe a little bit of background of how you've evolved.
My practice, I've been a lawyer since 1988, so doing the math, I think that's like 23 years now. And I started off doing mostly just litigation, but over time, I still do litigation. Over time, I found that the confrontational process was not necessarily, best for mental health, and it can be sort of draining. I find that the real estate transactions that I do are a cooperative process, so it's helping people get from here to there, and they're usually very satisfied because they've bought a house or sold a house, something along those lines. So I really like that part of the practice. It's really evolved over the last 10 years to become a large part of my practice.
Describe what it involves in terms of working with a person, whether they're buying or selling, in terms of what exactly is the process for them in terms of the purchase and the sale.
Sure. What I do and what a real estate attorney does is work with sellers, people who are selling houses or condominiums, or buyers. And I typically do mostly residential closings. What we do is, for a seller, is we handle the purchase and sales agreement, which is an important document that they need to have, and we tailor it to their transaction. And we basically handle it from soup to nuts, so that at the end of the day, they don't even actually have to go to the closing. They can have me attend the closing. I'll take care of all the details, and all they get, hopefully, is a check at the end of the day. For the buyer, it varies. Sometimes we're in early on in the process when they're making an offer, and we always recommend folks have us review offers if at all possible. But oftentimes that's not possible because, as you know, there's a lot of time constraints and things need to happen pretty quickly. So we'll review the purchase and sale agreement for the buyer. Again, an important part of the deal. There are certain things in what we call the P&S that needs to be put into for the buyer to protect them. We'll make sure those are in there. And then we'll, again, hold their hand all the way through to the end of the transaction.
Tell me, how are you different from any other real estate attorney?
Well, that's a good question. And over the past 10 years or so, as I've built up the real estate practice, I think the one thing that I hear from my clients is that I've been accessible and responsive and, in communication with them. Mm-hmm. Even if it's just the routine stuff. Just sort of like what's happening, or they're still a month away from the closing, just to hear from me. This is what I've done this week on your deal, if anything. They just like to know that I'm there, sort of like the occasional touch. Mm-hmm. When you get an email from me, for example, you get 4 phone numbers. You get my office number, you get my fax number, you get my cell phone, and you get my home phone. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's unique, but it certainly shows that I'm willing to be accessible to my clients at all times of the day.
Will you share with us a story of a transaction that you've worked with that you felt that you really impacted someone's lives?
Well, honestly, almost every transaction is like that, because I do dozens, if not hundreds, of closings a year, but how many times do people sell a house or buy a house in a lifetime? So it is really almost a once in a lifetime experience for many people. But just to give you an example of how I'm able to help, it was really relatively recently. Someone sent me an email, who was a real estate broker, and said, another real estate broker will be calling you because she asked, who am I going to get to review this offer over the weekend? And I knew who it was going to be. It was you. So that real estate broker called me. She said, my client is going to call me, and the client called me, and he emailed me the offer. And the situation was that they're buying a house that's coming out of foreclosure. And when that happens, there's a lot of extra items that the lender who owns the property includes in the transaction. A lot of stuff, 4 or 5 pages of single space items. And he wanted someone to review it before he signed off on it. And because it was a foreclosure situation, the deadlines were basically, it was Monday morning, they had to have it reviewed and signed. So I reviewed it, I made my comments, and they signed it Monday morning.
Excellent.
So, you know, I don't know if that changed his life, but hopefully he'll get his deal done, and he'll feel more comfortable going forward in what can be a very tense and emotional process.
Is there anything else that you would like the audience to know about you and your practice?
My practice is based in Brockton, Massachusetts, but geographically we go everywhere. I travel to all cities and towns in Massachusetts. I handle not just closings, in other words, buying and selling transactions, but refinances, which are a big part of the process. Even nowadays, interest rates, as you know, are very attractive to, you know, historically speaking. So we're always looking to get refinance deals in the door if we possibly can.
Ken, if someone who was looking at the video, the filming of this, how can they reach you if they would like to use your services?
Sure. The website is kglegal.com, worldwideweb.kglegal.com, and the email is ken@kglegal.com. And do you want me to give a phone number?
Yes, please.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely.
The phone number is 508-588-8300. Or they can stop by my office in Brockton on Torrey Street and walk in. That happens occasionally too.
Okay, awesome. Ken, thank you so very much.
Thank
It was a
you, Connie.
privilege to have you here this evening.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
Sure. Bye-bye.